Hey racers, welcome back to the channel. October has begun and that means a new monthly competition on Forza Motorsport. Every month you get 2 new leaderboard challenges which come up in stock cars, and one of them happens to be at Suzuka GP in an LMP car, the number 3 Peugeot 905C. So this is a car that I have never driven before in the previous months that it has featured in the monthly rivals challenges, but I thought today is the day that we change that. Let's see how difficult we find it. So as it's the first day, not too many people have set times, at least people who are really high up there that I understand are very familiar with this car. I'm talking about Hydra, Scottsin, Harmonic, those types of people, as well as Billy Sue, Lightning and Bokit as well. So but we're currently number 1, and I just thought, as you can see, there's quite a hefty gap there between us and then the rest of the field, so I think this could actually be a pretty decent time that at the end of the month it could still possibly sit in the top 12. So I thought, why don't we actually run through the replay? I can show you guys exactly what I was trying to do, the lines I was trying to take with this track. Although it's one I'm not super familiar with, I feel like I've already learned a bunch while spending a good hour practicing this car around the track. So I'll go through this just with the chase cam, and then maybe afterwards I can show you guys what it would be like from an internal position. So let's get over to the chase cam and we will have the lap begin right now. What I'd like to do is slow down at each corner and talk about exactly what I'm trying to do. So here we are coming into turn 1. As you can see, it's a really heavy dive, so let's just bring that back and give you we're actually braking. There's not an obvious brake marker, but what I thought to do is go for this slip road here, and then the moment that we pass it, we then go to lift off the throttle first and then apply the brakes. So it's not hitting both at the same time, it's a tiny bit of coasting and then braking, and then basically use a lot of that coasting momentum to carry us up to the outside, but do not touch this apex. I found that it really unsettles the car. And then go down to either 3rd or 2nd. You can do 2nd, but it depends on your angle if it's really going to pay off for you. I kept it at 3rd here. Unfortunately, I touched the inside curb, and as you can see right now, it nooks the car out the tiniest bit, and you think, oh, it's only a couple of degrees, but that actually killed the run in terms of flooring the throttle sooner. So I actually lost a good half a tenth there. But into the S-bends, we just smash over the grass and the curbs. We try and aim for all of these curbs for the first 3 turns. It's coming up to this right-hander that you want to stay clear of. This curb will kick out the car, but then as we come to the long left-hander, try and hit that curb. It just helps ever so slightly with rotation, and then just floor it and obviously avoid them curbs. Now here we go, the Degners. This is really hard. Where do you actually brake? So I've actually been guessing it as I've been going, but let's slow it down and see if there's some form of brake marker that subconsciously you can pick up on. And what I found to be the case is it's this lamppost, this final lamppost on the right hand side. You see that? Also where the cameraman is on that stand. So it's as we are approaching that we then begin to brake and coast, and then use that momentum to carry it through. As for the 2nd Degner, is there an obvious brake marker? Yes, I would say it is this blank billboard screen on the right hand side. So as it's coming out of view, that is when you go on the brakes. So for me it felt like it was really early to hit the brakes, but it's an awkward turn, so you want to be better safe than sorry. Here we begin braking immediately after this run strip, the curb on the right hand side, and then I'm coming all the way down to 1st and then upshifting into 2nd before I actually then begin getting on the throttle, because 1st gear it just felt like a no-go. It wasn't happening, and even in 2nd gear it can feel a little bit sketchy. But now on to spoon. I begin braking after this shadow, pretty much the moment this shadow ends, and then just try and carry a lot of momentum to clip this curb, come to the outside curb, and then the 2nd part of spoon, really awkward. You can possibly go into 2nd gear there, but on this particular lap it felt like I was actually going to oversteer too much if I'd done that, so kept it in 3rd gear, Onto this turn, the fast sweeper, just floor it if you can. You may want to practice with letting off the throttle ever so slightly. That's what I had done for like the first 6 or 7 laps, and then I got into the habit. But let's see if we can break down exactly where the turning point is. It is pretty much this lamppost. It is the first lamppost on the right hand side here as we approach. But just don't turn in too harshly at first, otherwise the car will oversteer. And then as for the braking zone, for the final chicane, this is honestly my hardest part of the track without a doubt. There are some times I'd literally lose 0.3 of a second, and it turned out that on this lap I was already a tenth down, and then I made up 0.4 just by absolutely yeeting this part. So we've done a pretty good job. If you didn't notice that, we're basically trying to brake the moment that we see the end. It's as we're approaching like the end of the tyre barrier wall on the right hand side. So it's not exactly, but when you're going at full speed it feels like you're about to pass it. So just brake in, engine brake if you need to, get down into second gear as fast as possible. We actually blip the throttle the tiniest bit here, so I'm just going to do it in slow motion. Once we come out of here, we then blip the throttle just to help try and kick the tail end out, and then we'd be really patient on applying the throttle. In real time it feels like an eternity to actually get the throttle down in second gear, but the car is just incredibly susceptible to that snap oversteer. And then I just hugged it on the right hand side to actually finish it off with the lap, and that was the 143.5. What I'll do now for you guys is actually show you how that would appear, and maybe with an inside camera. Maybe you guys want that. I'm not too sure if you prefer this view or the wheel view, but we'll keep the wheel view, and that way you can get a better idea as to all the steering inputs I actually made for this lap. So let's go away and I'll just run it at full speed. So look for the little slip road, then we begin coasting and braking, come to the outside curve, try and tuck it back in third gear, avoid that inside curb, but feel free to hit the curb on the outside, that's fine. Hit this curb, try and hit this curb, it's not the be and end all if you don't. Definitely hit this other curb. It seems like all the curbs that are for the left hand turns, they're the ones you want to touch more. The right ones, they're a bit more risky and can just unsettle the car, kick the back end out, all of that. Get really close to the cones as we come through this long left hander into the first Stegner, coast it, take a lot of confidence. You just have to really try it, guys. So I'd say the first 20 or 30 laps, don't worry about if you are actually getting the laps invalidated by overdoing the track limits or cutting. I think you just need to build up your confidence to actually go this fast. It was certainly the case for me because I don't typically do P class or ever X class, so definitely an uncomfortable one, but it's been really fun, and I might go back to it later on as the month goes on. But I'd really like to see if this video and track guide actually helped you guys here. So here we are, coming onto the back straight underneath the Panasonic board, shifting to 6th gear as you approach about 184 or 85 miles per hour. As I mentioned, full throttle, full commitment there, and then harsh engine braking down into 2nd gear, coast a little bit, blip the throttle tiny, and then apply the throttle again as you're actually running over that second curb at the end of the chicane, but only at about 40 to 50% on the throttle, otherwise the car will get too tail happy for you to recover it. But that is the laps themselves. So I hope it is something that helps you guys. We've got a whole month to do this one, so there's no rush for any of you, but I'm hoping that for anyone who's tried this combination before, or it's going to be the first time, I hope that these little insights will actually help you with improving your time. And I want you to let me know, does it help you by half a second, is it a full second, or maybe it's even more? In terms of which ghosts you chase, I actually just continue to chase this guy, TEC Beefy. Even after beating his time and getting in the 44s, I still wanted to follow his ghost because his first turn is incredibly good. It's incredibly good. So I felt like that was the best place to actually learn, because turn 1 is the hardest part of the entire track for me, and I feel like if you can get confident at doing the engine braking and coasting at such a fast rate through turn 1 and then into turn 2, it will set you up in terms of your confidence for the rest of the lap. So let me know if this video helps you guys. Tell me in the comments if it improves your pace or any weird quirks that you find with this car, and I'll be happy to respond to you all and tell you what I think may help. But until then, make sure you're subscribed, and please give this video a big thumbs up just so more people can find it.